Hello everyone, Jeff the Green Review here. Roses are just summer blooming shrubs that have flowers on the end of a determinant branch. Roses either flower on the ends of long spurts of new wood coming from the crown or from short spurs of new wood coming off old wood branches. For instance, hybrid tea roses bloom on the ends of the newest growth, while climbing roses bloom on 2-year-old wood. Floribunda, grandiflora, hybrid tea, and miniature roses all bloom on new wood several times during the summer. To get lots of new wood, do a heavy pruning to remove almost all old wood early in the spring before new growth starts. Leave about 5 short canes about 6 inches tall that have 5 buds each. After one of these roses blooms, it can be heavily pruned. Each stem is cut off, leaving a couple of 5-leaflet leaves on the remaining stem. Here are 3 leaflet rows and 5 leaflet rose leaves so you can see the difference. When pruning rose stems, leave at least 2 5-leaflet leaves on the remaining stem. Prune just above one that has a bud facing away from the center of the plant, so the new branch will grow that direction. Modern shrub roses bloom on the ends of new wood and are pruned using the summer renewal method. In early spring, remove about 1/3 of the branches at ground level to promote new wood. Old roses, such as gallicas, damask, and moss roses, bloom only once each summer. The flowering stems are borne on old wood. They should be pruned after they bloom. A few canes can be removed at ground level, or the whole plant can be cut back by 1/3 to 1/2. If they're a grafted variety, prune above the graft. Modern shrub roses, like these knockouts, will bloom on the ends of a group of little branches at the top of the main stem. If you want to, you can shorten the plant by cleaning up and deadheading those spent flowers and cut back farther down on the main branch. And there'll be several of those main branches on each plant. If you do nothing, they will kind of deadhead themselves, and they don't do very well of producing rose hips, so there isn't a lot of big large rose hips at the top, and so there's not a lot of energy spent there. And even if they don't kind of self-deadhead and lose those small rose hips, they will send out new branches below that cluster from the beginning of the year and bloom again. So you can keep them neater and cleaner and smaller if you cut back and deadhead, but if you do nothing, they will still bloom and continue blooming several times during the season. Ground cover roses have a tendency to send out long arching branches. If they are too vertical and too tall, they can be cut back, like this one has been right here, and it will send out new flower clusters on the sides instead of the long end of the branch that is arching too long and too tall. Climbing roses are not vines. They are shrubs with very long branches. The long branches of a climbing rose, called main canes, produce short flowering branches called lateral branches in the second and following years. The lateral branches bloom in the spring, and then if cut back to only 3 or 4 inches to 6 inches, the laterals may produce more flowers during the summer. The main canes can be long-lived, but can also be removed after 3 or 4 years to make room for younger main canes that will produce more flowers. The growing tip area of the main cane sends out auxins back down the length of the stem that prevents the other buds from blooming. If the main cane is trained onto a horizontal trellis, the auxins preventing the flowers don't make it to the lateral branches and they will bloom. If the climbing rose variety only blooms once during a summer on the lateral branches, then prune the laterals back to a month or so after they bloom. If the laterals bloom several times during the summer, prune the laterals back heavily during the dormant period. So what's this mean to me? Pruning of specialized shrubs and vines like brambles, clematis, hollies, hydrangeas, roses, and vines all still follow the rules of shrub renewal pruning. Just a matter of determining when a plant blooms and then pruning to create more young or old wood that produces the flower buds. Watch my shrub pruning video that explains heavy and light pruning, renewal pruning, and other types of shrub pruning. In climates that freeze over for the winter, Floribunda, grandiflora, and hybrid tea roses can be cut down to 1-foot tall canes in the fall after the ground is frozen. Soil and mulch can be heaped up on the crown. In the spring, rake or wash away the soil and mulch. And so on this little shrub rose, we have a branch that was pruned back here after it bloomed, so it has a couple of 5-leaflet leaves, and it sent out new growth. Because these shrubs are going to grow to their maximum size, every time you prune back, it's going to come up to that original size that it wants to be. So if you prune a light pruning in just a little bit, you get a little short branch. If you prune a heavy pruning and go way down, you're going to get a longer branch. So if you want long stem roses, do that heavy pruning to get those long branches. On this branch, there wasn't any pruning done, and this is not a self-deadheading rose, and so all of the flowers from the last time it bloomed are still here. And as you can see, there's a short little branch that grew off the side of that. So when this flower is done, we'll go back and do a little bit heavier of a pruning, remove all these old seed heads and this flower, and get a longer stalk coming up on the next time. And this is Jeff with the Green Review. Thanks for watching.